Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today at the North American Bear Center. And also thank you to our viewers who are watching this podcast online today. My name is Nicki. I'm one of the 4 interns here. And below, we have a couple of our interns who just threw the bears what we call our tube enrichment toys. Down below, we have Holly, who is our 2-year-old female, sitting on the cedar pile with her tube. And we have Lucky down by that wood area that we call our scale, down with his tube as well. Lucky is our 8-year-old male. And you may be wondering why we have this cedar pile that Holly is sitting on. And actually, it's a great way for our bears to naturally keep bugs off of them. The cedar chips have cedar oil that the bears can roll in and rub their face in, and this is a natural deterrent for a lot of different insects. And it's a way that the bears will try to keep some of the insects off of them. So the bears are playing with what we call our enrichment tubes, and they're made out of PVC pipes. And we fill them with snacks for the bears. Today they're getting cranberries and peanuts. And so the purpose of this enrichment is to provide a physical and mental stimulus activity for our bears. It's a way to show viewers and visitors the bears' dexterity while challenging them to figure out how to get their treats from inside these snacks. We do this as a way to keep them actively thinking about how to get their food, as a way to encourage those skills to remain in our bears though they're now in captivity. And we do provide our bears with food, so this is a great way for them to use those skills and actually think about what they have to do in order to get at the food in their tube. Holly seems a little bit disinterested in her tube now and is looking to our interns to see if she can get some snacks from them. And as you can see, Lucky is rolling his tube around and trying to get his snacks out that way. And so these stimulus activities, whether it be these tubes that we give them, we have hard plastic cubes and donuts that also have holes for the bears. And all of these have our bears figure out, well, how do I get these snacks out of here? I can smell them, I know they're in there. And then they have to figure out whether it's turning them, flipping them, sticking their tongue in. They have to figure out how they're going to get those snacks out of there. Black bears do have a great sense of smell. It's one way that they learn to associate who the different staff members are and interns. They learn us by our smell and by our voices. So they do have a great sense of smell, which helps them when they're foraging with these bears in captivity as well as being in the wild. Holly, our 2-year-old female, who you may see on the cedar pile down below, she comes from a little bit further than you would expect. She came to us from Arkansas, where she was born to a wild female. She was separated from her mother in a wildfire, and a family had picked her up and tried to raise her for a while. Though you can't just pick up a black bear and call it part of the family, you do need legal permits and licensing to legally raise a black bear, and this family did not have those. So the Fish and Wildlife Service did take Holly away and brought her to the Appalachian Bear Rescue in Tennessee. At the Appalachian Bear Rescue, after trying to work with Holly for a little while, she was deemed unfit to be released back into the wild and was then forced to find a home in captivity. It was either finding a home in captivity or being euthanized. So we gladly took Holly. She came to us on December 27th, 2013, and that is how she received her name, Holly. Being the holiday season, we named her Holly after Holly Berry, so she became Holly Bear. She has now been with us for about 1.5 years, and as you can see, her fur is kind of raggedy looking. A lot of it has come out already, but you can see patches of brown along with that black, and she is currently shedding her winter coat. All of our black bears are working on shedding their winter coats, as they still have them now, but as you can see, Holly is very far along. You can see The parts that are sticking up have a little bit more of a brown color to them. Those will be coming out soon. And her back area has already shed a little bit, and you can see that smooth coat lying down. So she's very far along in getting this coat off of her currently. Lucky, who is still investigating his tube over by the scale, has a little bit of a different story from Holly. He was born in the wild to a wild mother, but he was born in the Wisconsin area. We're not really sure how he was separated from his mother, but he was picked up by the Wisconsin DNR. He was also deemed unfit to be released back into the wild and also needed a home. He came here before Holly did. He came to us on July of 2007. So he has been here for about 8 years now. He was around 6 months old, a little over 6 months old when he first came to us, and has been here ever since. He was lucky to find this home here, and we were very lucky to have him. So that is why we call him Lucky Bear. He will live out the remainder of his life in our facilities. And as you can see, he just stepped onto the scale down below. This is how we weigh our bears. We will put some snacks out, and the bear will step on the scale long enough. We have a reading on the inside where we're able to tell how much they weigh. And we do keep track of the bear's weights. We try to weigh them every Friday. At least once a week is the best aim that we get. And we do this so that we know where their weight's at. Our bear curator is the one who chooses what they're going to be fed, how much of it, and maintains that weight in preparation for hyperphagia later in the season and for hibernation. So we do keep track of the bear's weight and diet, and this is how we are able to weigh our bears. Currently, Lucky has been weighed last week. He was weighing around 378 pounds. I'll have to check back to see if he has been weighed in the past few days, or what, if they're checking his weight right now, what that is. But he's around 378, which is a very normal size for a healthy male in the wild. Males have a range of 125 to 500, with the average weight of a male being between 300 and 400 pounds. So, Lucky has a very beautiful coat. He's grown up to be a very beautiful bear and is a good size for the average male that you may see in the wild. And as I had mentioned previously, we did provide some snacks in our tubes of dried cranberries and peanuts. So maybe that got you wondering, well, what do we feed our bears? Black bears' diets are largely made up of different types of fruits, vegetation, and nuts. So we try to keep their diets as close to that as possible. We do provide 2 meals a day for our bears, in which they receive different types of fruits, different types of nuts, and some vegetables as well. In addition to the meals that they receive here and their enrichment snacks, we also have this lovely enclosure for the bears that is 2.5 acres. And as you can see, there are lots and lots of different types of plants and trees in here. And some of those plants that we have in here are native foods that you would find in the Minnesota area, which black bears do eat. So we do allow our bears to naturally forage. We do want them to forage, in addition to the food that we provide for them. And we have different types of berries that will soon be ripened inside the enclosure, some of them being wild strawberries, blueberries, Juneberries, chokecherries, chokeberries, sarsaparilla. There's also a variety of different grasses as well that our bears can choose to forage on. Lucky and Holly are our 2 bigger foragers here. Honey, our other female, who is in her separate enclosure right now, she doesn't forage as much as the others, though occasionally she will. And as you can see, Lucky has walked right below me. He's standing over by our creek, and he may be heading back up to the clover and towards our white pine. And as I was mentioning, most of the black bear's diet does comprise of different types of vegetation and nuts. Only about 10% is made of protein, and that is normally in the wild. That normally comes from different types of ant larvae, hornet larvae, and the nuts that they eat. So very seldom will they actually eat something other than those. If certain crops are scarce, they have been known to eat fawns and sometimes white suckers. Generally, they receive that protein from their nuts and larval insects. Lucky has decided to take a seat over near some of the clover on the left-hand side. He finished his tube, lost interest in it, and headed over here. And we are currently working on construction for our Northwoods Ecology Hall. This will be opening July 18th. And the ribbon cutting ceremony will be at 2 o'clock. This is also the same weekend of the Lily Pad Picnic, which will be on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of July. So if you're planning on coming up here for that, we are very excited for this event coming up. It looks like Lucky is heading back down towards the creek. Maybe he'll go for a swim. Or he may be heading over to check out any of the remaining enrichment food. If you're interested in finding out some more about some of the wildlife in the areas, there is the International Wolf Center on the other side of town, which is a great way to learn about some of the larger predators in the Northwoods areas. They have 5 ambassador wolves, 1 retired named Grizzler, and 4 ambassador wolves that are able to be seen during your visit. These wolves are Luna, Denali, Aiden, and Bolts. So it's definitely a place to check out if you're interested in learning a little bit more about some of the Northwoods animals. We do have memberships here at the North American Bear Center, ranging from an individual membership, student memberships, family memberships, and grandparent memberships. Some of these are very useful if you like to come and visit more than once, and if you plan on visiting in the future, some of these may be a great option to look into. For more information on these memberships, feel free to ask our cashier at the front desk for some more information about those and any offers that may be going on currently. We do have a website connected to the North American Bear Center called bear.org. It's a great way to stay connected and up to date on what's going on in the lives of our 4 ambassador bears every day. We have 24-hour cams on some of our bears, so you're able to see their activity either late at night, early in the morning, or throughout the day if you're not able to come back to the center for a while. It's also a great way to get in contact with some of the great supporters and chat with them on the pond cams, as well as learning some of the large amounts of material Dr. Rogers has observed and collected over his 40 years of research. So definitely check that out if you'd like to stay in tune with us, keep up with our bears, and learn about black bears in the wild. Thank you again for joining us today, to our visitors joining us here for the enrichment program, and for our online viewers as well. We will be having a 4 o'clock enrichment later on today, and we do have our enrichments every day at 11, 1, and 4. Thank you again.